This may be hard to believe, but even at 38 years old, Dirk Nowitzki is still the Mavericks' best player. Initially in free agency, Mavericks struck out with the top free agents like Durant, Whiteside, and Horford. But they were able to sign Harrison Barnes and trade for Andrew Bogut, and they ended up having a solid offseason. Harrison Barnes has the reputation of a limited player, but he still is a solid three-point shooter and a solid defender with athleticism. This team is way more versatile than they were last year. It has big and small lineups that can play both ends. Andrew Bogut brings interior defense and passing skills that will make the Mavericks a more formidable team. It still may be a struggle for this team to make the playoffs because of all the other teams in the West that have also improved. This 67-win team was surprisingly eliminated from the second round of the playoffs by the Oklahoma City Thunder. With Tim Duncan retiring, the Spurs entered the 2016-17 season for the first time in 20 years without him. It's bound to be weird initially not seeing the big fundamental on the floor. Fortunately, Manu Ginobili returns for another season, so most of the core remains basically intact. To offset the loss of Tim Duncan, the Spurs signed Pau Gasol in free agency, and fans automatically think it's going to be a great fit. I agree it will be a great fit offensively, but defensively is a whole nother story. There's no way the Spurs will be able to keep up defensively with the best teams in the league. Pick and roll with Gasol's man will be a constant theme that every opponent will use. I believe it will come to a point where Greg Popovich actually takes Gasol out of the starting lineup and put Dwayne Dedmon, who signed this summer in free agency, at center. Dedmon is basically a younger version of DeAndre Jordan. The Spurs just won't be effective with Pau Gasol playing 30+ minutes a game at this stage of his career. This team is led by former Finals MVP Kawhi Leonard, who has improved every year and is poised to continue to evolve going into the 2016-17 season. The Memphis Grizzlies made history last season by having to use 28 different players on the roster because of injury. A total of 12 different Grizzlies missed a combined 291 games to injuries or illness last season. Their best player, Marc Gasol, suffered a broken right foot that ended his season early. This past offseason, the Grizzlies signed Mike Conley to the richest NBA contract in history. A lot of pressure is now put on Mike Conley to deliver after that contract. And also in free agency, they added Chandler Parsons, who has also had injury issues in the past 2 seasons. It seems that the best players on this team are getting past their prime and are injury prone. That's never a good combination. Maybe they're due to have good luck this year with injury. Or maybe it's just the same problem, different year. Memphis will have to rely on a young backup point guard this year with either rookie Wade Baldwin or Andrew Harrison. The Grizzlies should still be a good team this year, but it's hard to imagine them doing any damage in the postseason. The Memphis Grizzlies wasn't the only team decimated by injuries. Add the New Orleans Pelicans to that list as well. The Pelicans will only go as far as superstar Anthony Davis will take them, but that means he will have to stay healthy. Davis has yet to play as many as 70 games in a single season so far. With Eric Gordon and Ryan Anderson gone, and Jrue Holiday out indefinitely for personal reasons, the Pelicans will need some major contributions from Langston Galloway, Buddy Hield, and newly acquired Lance Stevenson. Buddy Hield should immediately pay dividends for the Pelicans, and with also Tyreke Evans scheduled to miss the start of the season, the 6th overall pick in the 2016 draft has all the opportunity in the world to step in and put up big numbers in his rookie year. There's no reason why Buddy Hield shouldn't be a top candidate for Rookie of the Year. Outside of Buddy, I wasn't too crazy about the Pelicans' offseason moves. New Orleans paid a lot of money to mediocre role players. There's not enough talent around Anthony Davis for the Pelicans to make a legitimate run to the playoffs. After years of pursuing floor spacing bigs to pair with James Harden, the Rockets landed stretch forward Ryan Anderson. His sharp shooting will give Harden driving lanes that he's never seen before, and the two will also be a great pick and pop duo. The Rockets also added Eric Gordon, who will most likely be a 6-man coming off the bench. James Harden is the top 5 offensive player. If D'Antoni could turn Steve Nash into a back-to-back MVP, imagine what he can do to a guy who nearly won an MVP award without a standout offensive scheme. The Rockets have the players and the coach to be a top offensive team this upcoming season. But there's one big problem they will most likely have: defense. There's no sensible scenario in which the Rockets get stops consistently, which means they will most likely miss the playoffs no matter how much they score. Factor in Harden's effort levels and poor leadership skills, Ryan Anderson and Eric Gordon's prone to injury, and there's a chance that this might be a disaster. The Southwest Division has been one of the most competitive divisions in the league the last few years. 2 seasons ago, all 5 teams made the playoffs, and last year, they got 4 teams in the playoffs. I have coming in 5th place, the New Orleans Pelicans. Starting the season off without Tyreke Evans and Jrue Holiday may be too difficult to overcome. I expect a great year from rookie Buddy Hield, but I don't believe it will be enough help the Pelicans need. I have the Pelicans winning around 25 to 30 games. Coming in 4th place, the Houston Rockets. Even though they made the playoffs last year, it was a very disappointing year for a team that made it to the Western Conference Finals the previous year. They were probably the most disconnected team in the league last year. I believe they will play more together this year, but it's not enough talent to make a playoff run. I have the Rockets winning around 30 to 35 games. Coming in 3rd place is the Dallas Mavericks. The Mavericks upgraded with the addition of Harrison Barnes and Andrew Bogut. I believe they are a better team than last year, but it's still not a guarantee that they will make the playoff, with a lot of promising young teams getting better. I have the Mavericks winning around 38 to 43 games. Coming in 2nd place is the Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies finally have a good perimeter scorer by adding Chandler Parsons through free agency. Hopefully their best players can stay relatively healthy throughout the season to see how good this squad can be. I have the Memphis Grizzlies winning around 42 to 48 games. And coming in 1st place, the San Antonio Spurs. Led by LaMarcus Aldridge and Kawhi Leonard, the Spurs will once again be one of the contenders for the NBA championship, but this will be the first time without future Hall of Famer Tim Duncan. How will the defense look without the big fundamental anchor in the defense? I have the Spurs winning around 52 to 56 games.
We got a problem.